Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong, recording this a little bit early. It's got a lot of stuff to do tonight, but I wanted to get this out of the way. Hopefully it's no big news drops while I'm recording this, because this will be the only video going out tonight. First of all, I want to start off with some of these rumors and speculation. One of them might not actually be rumor. This could actually be true, and that is that Humberto Gonzalez, he had heard that the test screening last night apparently made a splash. And that he's talking about is Aquaman. And so there's a lot of positive kind of rave reviews, speculative now. I don't know anybody. These insider sources claim to know somebody, and then we all know about what Mark Hughes had talked about, one negative about the Aquaman, but it seems to be good. Seems like some of the Warner Brothers' best thing, DCEU to date, probably along the lines of Wonder Woman in terms of general response in any case. So very much looking forward to that. I know they're doing a lot of things to it. I know James Wan's working hard on that. I hope it's pretty much all his ideas, and they don't generally try to change that too much. Really looking forward to it. I love underwater stuff. I love anything about that. Of course, it's been very hush hush, and that's actually a good thing. You know, the less you know about it, the better off you were wondering how, better off it's going to be, not so, bad publicity in any case. So I think it's good that it's very hush-hush. James Wan's keeping it close to his chest, and that we're hearing that the test screenings are positive, that once they get all the digital effects in, it's going to be a really good movie. So very much happy about that. The Batman is getting something, and this is a big rumor. Okay, this is coming from Jeremy Conrad, and he has been right about certain things. Some people have told me, I don't know personally, I don't know who he is. He seems to be just a blogger or a fan, a huge fan. But he seems to have some inside scoop and sources as well. But this is a rumor. And this is on his article. I'll link it in the description below. Matt Reeves, the Batman, may deal with a very famous comic storyline. Okay, this is what he's talking about. He's talking about how we all know that Robin died on his watch, and we see that in Suicide Squad, where Harley Quinn's thing is helped kill Robin. We see Robin's costume with the marked up in Batman v Superman. So there is definitely something about that. So according to the rumor he has heard, Matt Reeves' story is about how Bruce deals with the death of Jason Todd. That doesn't mean that we're getting a death in the family on the big screen, or the Red Hood. That's probably a sequel. But instead, how a younger Bruce Wayne deals with being responsible for death of a Robin. So we know that Matt Reeves have spoken that it's going to be a very emotional story, and that could be emotional in terms of death of his own family, and it's already hinted at in the Batman v Superman Suicide Squad. So we know that actually transpired. Although in Justice League, I gotta wonder if this is true, if that really if they're really accepting that this has happened before, then why in Justice League, why would they bother taking out Jim Gordon's line of playing well with others again? Why did they take out again? Because again would have made it go back to us realizing that he had been working as a team before. He was a team player before, but something happened with Robin, and that's why he wants to work alone. So that would have totally make sense to include that in. But if this is true, that this is being made, could it be that Walter Hamada has something to do with here, especially with Flashpoint being the Flash now? Maybe. Rumor that Matt Reeves' story is about to do this, that they're gonna like, you know what, we wanted to make an origin Batman, let's reel it back, let's do what Matt Reeves is doing, let's get with Jason Todd, let's accept what happened in Batman v Superman and Man of Steel, and let's continue on with that. So that could be kind of cool, that could be good. I'd rather have the Batman from Batman v Superman than angry Batman, or see why he turned that way, how he turned that way. And we all know how he turned out way, but on screen, an actual Jason Todd on screen. I know Jason Todd's been casted in Titans, in the TV Warner Bros. Show. I don't know if that's ever connected to this. I know there's Nightwing there too. I don't think so. I think it's a different universe and altogether. But if this is true, I'm very much intrigued by this. It's going to be a trilogy too, so that'd be cool to see Jason Todd die and then get Red Hood and everything else. We have Nightwing and all stuff like that. Maybe part 2 will be you know, it would be Dick Grayson, then Jason Todd. You know, it could be. There's so much stuff you can work with there, and very excited to see it having be a prequel to Batman v Superman. Other than that, is Ben Affleck going to be there? I don't know. There's could be a lot of possibility. People or some people are saying that it's possible that who was telling me? Someone just told me today. I gotta look at my Twitter again, but. Let's see. Someone just told me today that it's possible that Ben Affleck could be doing. Oh, here. This is from Scott Stamper at Durfell Barada. Shout out to you. That he is implying that it's possible that Ben Affleck could still be like the older, play as the older Bruce Wayne, thinking about, recollecting about his younger days or the past about how that's done, and so they can get a younger Bruce Wayne to do it. That could be cool in itself. I think Ben Affleck could actually play both roles. I mean, he just has to whiten his hair and not whiten his hair. I think that's possible, but if they're gonna do that, then that could be fine as well. I don't know how that's gonna work out, but it almost reminds me of Indiana Jones and the young Indiana Jones, you know, how that plays out. So I'm okay with that, and that could be really interesting. But I am really, I want this. I want it to be a non-origin story. I don't want to see another year one. I think we've already got a glimpse of how that worked out in Batman v Superman in the opening crawl. That's it. Let's go on further. Let's go into more of the Batman family, into more of Batman's storyline, you know, past all that, past all the origin, and let's get it going with that, and especially get a new Robin in our brain that is not, you know, from Batman and Robin days, you know, although that is kind of special in itself. All right, so that's cool. That's cool for the DC Extended Universe. It's all rumor based right now, but I could definitely see these things definitely happening. Now, I want to talk about a little bit. This is kind of like a two thing. It's a two-parter. Well, no, it's a combined genre thing, and it has to deal with yes, The Last Jedi and Star Wars, and what I find in myself, my own opinion anyway, and how it compares to the DC Extended Universe. Okay, so I'll just read you this. This is interesting. If you're, I don't know if you're a fan of Star Wars. If you're a DC fan, you're a fan of Star Wars, or vice versa. This is kind of a two thing. I mean, Zack Snyder is a huge Star Wars fan, as you've seen him do before with his trailers and stuff like that. But this is coming from Collider, and this is ultimately come from another Josh Horowitz Happy, Sad, Confused podcast, where he asked Simon Pegg about The Last Jedi. And so his question he asked him about who are Rey's parents, and this is what Simon Pegg has said. He says, well, I know that JJ kind of intended, or at least what was sort of being chucked around. I think that's kind of being undone slightly by The Last Jedi. I don't know. Laughs. I think Unkar Plutt is Rey's real father. He was just joking. He also said there was some talk about, you know, a kind of relevant lineage for her, but I honestly don't know, and I don't know if anybody knows. We shall see. So apparently he was very involved with The Force Awakens. He's good friends with JJ Abrams, with Star Trek, of course, and so he probably knew who Rey's lineage was. He's not wanting to say it. I don't know if he's in the next Star Wars film or not. Probably not. So that's why he's probably speaking freely, not afraid of Kathleen Kennedy. I know JJ Abrams pulled back, Mark Hamill pulled back, Rian Johnson is fighting for his vision because, and rightfully so, it's his vision. He gets to do it. But I think Kathleen Kennedy has a thing for trying to keep it under wraps of apparently, and this is pretty much a fact now, I think, that what JJ Abrams had intended was not carried over to Last Jedi. But JJ Abrams gets to carry it back. In what fashion, he'll have to pick up the pieces. But it's very much so now that each director was handed a set of characters, and just knowing what happens at the end of that movie and saying, do what you want with it. And I think that's kind of not a good idea, especially in making episodic feature films like this. I think if Kevin Feige was involved in it, he would totally know exactly where it's going to go. He plans it out better. If Kevin Feige had done Star Wars, he would make sure each director would know that what the first director, what the intended story arc is. And how it should flow. Because The Last Jedi may be a good movie in its own right by itself, but I don't think it's a good sequel, because it diverts away from what the first movie was intended. And people were saying that, that's not true. JJ Abrams knew about this, but what Simon Pegg is coming out and saying, it is rather interesting. And so now with this new information from Simon Pegg, it seems more apparent that JJ Abrams had a longer vision to it. Of course, I mean, he wouldn't have put in those clues, the lightsaber, the Rey's vision, and all that, the way they feel like it's she's much more important and into the story in terms of her, I'd say, lineage or of her past. Especially her past, like there's some kind of mystery there that they didn't want to reveal to us, and it goes beyond to what the novelization, how she is just a vessel of the Force. That's kind of powerful in itself. And so if Rian Johnson had done an episode before that and then Last Jedi was his next episode, it wouldn't be too bad, because he would have had that vision along the line. But because he had two different directors, without Kathleen Kennedy telling each director to say, you guys got to talk to each other and make sure that the first director's what he had imagined vision would have went throughout. And so even Colin Trevorrow, they let him go because he's like, well, I didn't like that. So that is, to me, a fact right now, that she is not relaying this information. She is not like how Kevin Feige is telling each director it has to be like this. He probably has a giant whiteboard that he pulls out and says, well, it has to turn out. Thanos has to be here. Thanos, he's actually working on that, right? He actually has a spiderwebby crosswords thing going on. Now, how does this work with the DCEU? Well, Zack Snyder had a huge vision planned out. Okay, it was all planned out. Justice League was supposed to be a sequel. Justice League is the sequel to Batman v Superman, but it kind of pulls a little bit from Batman v Superman, but in its entirety, it's kind of can be its own film. The Last Jedi, I know people are comparing it to Batman v Superman because it's different, but I'm comparing it to The Last Jedi because, so Justice League is, The Last Jedi I'm being compared to Justice League, not Batman v Superman for me, because Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, sequel, Justice League comes out, it's reshot by a different director, and it takes some liberties from Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, but it takes out a lot of it. It takes out some of that tone, it adds in jokes that was never seen before. It made it a lighter film. It totally breaks down certain characters like Batman into some jokey character. He couldn't be a lighter, but he just turned into like a Marvel type of jokey hero. It just felt weird. The Last Jedi did the same kind of thing. It's a different director. It didn't continue on the story and how it was originally intended, and we know that now. And so for me, The Last Jedi, I didn't care for it because it doesn't continue on from The Force Awakens how it was. And a lot of people were thinking, no, it does. Well, what Simon Pegg has now said, and this is huge for me, is that that's true. He didn't really continue on from what JJ Abrams has done. And now that JJ Abrams is back, the one thing that people say that he can totally retcon is that Kylo Ren has lied this whole time. And they'll make Rey's parentage lineage work out. I mean, Rian Johnson has said that. I think he was kind of covering for himself to make sure that in his mind, that's how JJ Abrams could have done, and he says go ahead and do it. But he is going to make his own Star Wars, so that's fine. He can make his own Star Wars. Let's see how that turns out. But as a sequel through a trilogy, I think it's important to look at the movie from before, make sure you communicate with the director, make sure the studio has an overarching line of what they're going to do. And that is in comparison for me to the DCEU. In this case, though, Zack Snyder is not coming back. That would be cool if he was, but I don't think he is. But if he does, that's great. But if he's not, it's a little bit different because JJ Abrams is coming back, so he has an opportunity to get some of his vision back. I don't know how he's going to do with Mark Hamill. I think it's just going to be a Force Ghost now. But there is an opportunity for JJ to do something about that, to I wouldn't say course correct, because a lot of people like the direction The Last Jedi is going, but at least make it more towards the line of what Force Awakens was. Maybe kind of end a lot of the things that he was hinting at in The Force Awakens, or bring it up again. I don't know. But there's not much you can do since Rian Johnson did kill off two big characters. So I don't know what's going on with that. It's very interesting. Actually, I'm very interested to see what Episode 9 is about. I want to see what J.J. Abrams does with it. That'd be so cool and interesting. And I just want to see what's going to go on from there. Hopefully, I sure hope Finn gets a bigger role this time around. I really hope so. And then the fact that J.J. Abrams is bringing Finn and Rey together, now that could mean anything. They could just be in a scene together, but a lot of people are saying that they're together, that means Rose is out, and I don't know. I really don't know. It's very confusing, and that's the problem with having too many directors and without someone, the head of the studio, actually being involved in a storyline, being involved in a web, looking at things, puzzling, putting together, like Kevin Feige and like how Zack Snyder once had done it. That overarching, that person up there who's making sure the dotted lines are connecting well, and not just choosing directors because they want to choose directors and having them work with a set of rules. Well, it's not rules, a set of liberties that don't connect to each other. You know what I mean? I don't know if you do. But that's what I wanted to talk about today. I know it's more of an editorial thing, but that came up today when I heard Simon Pegg, and it just got me back thinking to the DC Extended Universe as well. So, am I reaching? Let me know down below. Are you excited for Aquaman? Test screening seems to be positive. Hey! And the rumor about Matt Reeves, the Batman, going to tap into Jason Todd. I am super stoked for that. My fan casting is Jensen Ackles for that, and I don't know that I don't know if that's gonna be true, but that would be cool. Also, what do you think about Simon Pegg and The Last Jedi, and his comments about The Last Jedi? And do you share my opinion about The Last Jedi? Do you like it or do you not like it? Are you the ones that compare it to the Batman v Superman, or are you the ones that I don't think anybody has compared to the Justice League movie? I think I may be the only one who does that so far. So anyway, I think I'm coming down with the code. All right, guys. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.